I'm Kalani, Chief Brand Officer here at the Hawaiʻi Tourism Authority. Excited this evening to share a few of our opportunities for funding that are being made available for calendar year 2024. This is our second informational session. We had one on Tuesday morning, daytime. And so this is our evening opportunity for all of you to join us, and so grateful that you are. Next slide, please. Just a rough agenda for us. I'll cover a little bit of HTA's strategic plan and our direction, the new ʻUmeke portal that was developed for HTA to be able to make this process a little bit smoother for everyone, we hope. And then I'll ask for your indulgence for a quick video. It's about 12 minutes with Tyler and I talking about each of the programs. And then we'll go through each of the kind of specs related to each of the funding opportunities. And then we'll go through an online portal walkthrough. So hopefully you guys can see how the actual application process goes. And then we'll save some time at the end for questions and answers. Mahalo. Next slide. So back in January of 2020, the Hawaiʻi Tourism Authority Board of Directors approved our new tourism strategic plan. It's really based on these 4 interacting pillars related first to our natural resources, Hawaiian culture, community pillar, and brand marketing pillar. Each of these pillars, I think, are what you'll see through these funding opportunities. The programs before us this evening really are our investment into people in place, into the things that help us protect, manage, and enhance our aina and environment generally, that really help us to preserve, protect, and perpetuate Hawaiian culture and community. And then obviously our community is diverse. And so how do we highlight all of those unique experiences and opportunities for us to gather as a community? And then lastly, the last pillar, how do we tell that story? Who's telling that story? What story are we telling? And how do we share it? And so that's the 4 interacting pillars. You also probably heard a little bit about our destination management action plans, or the DMAPs for short. They're tactical plans broken out into 3-year phases that really support how we actually implement this strategy. And so we're really excited to see that work progressing and moving along as well. Next slide, please. Again, ʻUmeke is the new portal that we developed in partnership with Kilohana, Purple Maita, and ourselves. Really, again, it's meant to be this calabash of all of these funding opportunities for everyone. It's a one-stop shop. It's the first time we have all of these programs being administered under one roof. And we're excited about some of the efficiencies that we hope that brings. But like any new process, there are opportunities for us to improve. And so we know it won't be perfect. It's brand new. And we ask for your patience as we go ahead and work through this, but we're committed to getting it right. And so we'll hear a little bit more about that. And if not, we'll go ahead and start the video. Mahalo. We'll be back in a few minutes with the video.
Aloha mai kākou, o wau o Tyler Iokepa Gomes with Kilohana, and we are so excited to be here today to discuss the launch of ʻUmeke, powered by the Hawaiʻi Tourism Authority. ʻUmeke is a one-stop shop digital portal for all 6 of the HTA's funding opportunities for 501c3 nonprofit organizations, nonprofits with fiscal sponsors, and government agencies. The portal launched on Monday, October 2nd, 2023, and all applications must be submitted by Monday, November 13th, 2023 at 11:59 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time. All applications must be submitted via online portal, which means for our tech-savvy nephews and nieces, be ready to help auntie and uncle to get those applications in online. I'm excited to be here today with the Chief Brand Officer for the Hawaiʻi Tourism Authority, Mr. Kalani, who's going to tell us a little bit more about all 6 of these funding opportunities. Aloha, Kalani.
Aloha, Tyler. Thank you for having me.
So, Kalani, the consolidation of all 6 of these programs is actually one of the key tenets of the HTA strategic plan. Would you mind talking about first, what is an ʻUmeke? And then second, tell us a little bit about the strategic plan and more specifically, the 4 pillars that it's based on.
Sure. Literally, ʻUmeke being a calabash, really holding all of that ike and knowledge. And when I think about some of the programs that get funded through this, we really kind of envision that to be the calabash of our community and all of the experiences that visitors and kama'aina alike can experience. And the program is an important work to perpetuating Hawaiian culture and preserving our natural resources.
Great. Now, that strategic plan, when did that come into place?
The board adopted our strategic plan in January of 2020. It laid out 4 strategic interacting pillars, the first being aina. It's really our natural resources, followed by our indigenous culture, Hawaiian culture, and then our broader community, and then our brand marketing.
Okay, question number 2. Can you say Resort Area Hawaiian Culture Initiative 5 times fast?
Racy, racy, racy.
We love abbreviations. We love shortening things and acronyms. So in our world, we refer to the Resort Area Hawaiian Culture Initiative as RACI. But can you talk a little bit about what that program is and who should be applying for it?
Yeah, so the Resort Area Hawaiian Culture Initiative is a program and an initiative on our part to inject Hawaiian culture and their practitioners into resort areas in an effort to, one, stimulate sort of an economic benefit for cultural practitioners, giving them a gig economy to earn some income for themselves and their families, but also to ensure that our visitors are experiencing authentic Hawaiian cultural practices from our people.
Now, resort area, that's got a pretty specific meaning. Can you talk a little bit about what is a resort area and why is it important that our cultural practitioners are there?
Yeah, we think about a resort area from a government perspective. It's a zoning, and so it's places where you think about normally Waikiki, Kona Kohala Coast on Hawaiʻi Island, and others, and so they're really spread out across the island. I think they're important in this perspective because at the Hawaiʻi Tourism Authority, we have a responsibility to manage holistically tourism's benefits and problems. So when we think about applicants for this program, for the Resort Area Hawaiian Culture Initiative, we really want organizations and cultural practitioners who have a desire to share. And we recognize that not every practitioner will want to or is interested in this kind of program, but those that are, we'd certainly encourage them to educate our visitors because we want to make sure that those who come to our islands understand who we are, understand our authentic and accurate culture, and have something to share in that experience with their friends and their families, and doing so in a way that's respectful of our culture.
So for organizations who do want to apply for RACI, what do they need to come to the table with in their application?
Yeah, I think we're really looking for a partnership that they can have a relationship with resort area partners so they have the place to practice. Again, it does need to happen in a resort area and we can provide that information, but having that partnership is an important part of this.
Now, for 2023, we recognize that with the Lahaina wildfires, there's an immediate need for many of our practitioners in the resort area. Can you talk a little bit about what the 2023 RACI program looks like and how it's different from 24?
Yeah, in 2023, we're really looking for those programs and projects that organizations or practitioners are looking to do in Maui. We really want to support our cultural practitioners who may have had performances or gigs or spaces where they shared cultural practice that are no longer possible. And so we really wanted to provide funding in an immediate way so that they could do that in other parts of Maui and make sure that that goes on. And again, the underlying benefit of providing economic development to these cultural practitioners so they can make some money and take it home.
So these are a little bit more short-term proposals because at the same time as 2023, we're also launching the 2024 award. Correct. How is that different from 23?
23, we're focused on Maui specifically. In 2024, we open up statewide again, and again to all resort areas statewide.
All right, next question. We had a long-standing program that HTA is very proud of, the Aloha Aina program. It's gone through a little bit of a rebranding. What's it called and how is it the same as it's always been?
Sure. The program elements, its goals, objectives, and criteria are the exact same. It's got a new name, Kahu'aina. We really just wanted to reflect an active role in caring for our spaces and places, and we felt kahu was a little bit more of a better descriptive word to help describe that we want these programs to be action. We want them to be a hana. We want them to be something where our people are engaged in the protection, preservation, and enhancement of our natural resources.
Under Kahu'aina, is it a one-time project? Is it a long-term project? And what do prior projects look like that have been successful?
Yeah, so we really want to ensure that these programs are really focused around hana, that they're actually doing something to preserve and protect our natural resources, and understanding that visitors have a physical impact on our aina. We want to make sure that these projects can be something that mitigate those negative impacts of tourism on our aina.
Now, this program has a Hawaiian name. Does it have to be a Native Hawaiian organization practicing Kahu'aina and applying for these programs?
No, but we just want to make sure that, again, we lead with our indigenous knowledge, that we are practicing what we believe, and these are a reflection of our values.
Speaking of values and the Native Hawaiian culture, another program that's been long-standing with HTA that you folks are very proud of is Kukuluola. Can you talk a little bit about that? And for those who are new to this, what is it? What do they need to apply?
Sure. Kukuluola has been our funding program to perpetuate and support Hawaiian cultural practitioners and community for over a decade now. We really believe that it's a meaningful investment back into what makes Hawaii a unique visitor destination, but also make us who we are. And so we always felt that it was important that we were reinvesting in the community. We recognize that our cultural practices don't happen without us. And if we can't do them without providing for our families and doing what we need to do, then it puts those practices at risk. And so this is really a reinvestment to make sure that tourism is enriching and enhancing our ability to perpetuate our culture.
So this could be anything in theory related to culture. It could be language or art or dance. Is that right?
Accurate, yep. We really have, and we've seen everything from Hawaiian puppet hula to Olelo Hawaii. We've kind of seen it all. And so really, I think what's important for us is that we are creating opportunities for the practice to happen. We're supporting the practitioners and passing on that practice. Those are really, I think, fundamental core tenets of this program.
So let me know if I've got this straight. Resort Area Hawaiian Culture Initiative. That's for Native Hawaiian culture practitioners practicing and offering their culture in resort areas. Correct. Then we have Kahuaina, which is for individuals performing hana in the land in order to perpetuate Native Hawaiian knowledge, traditional knowledge and values. And then Kukuluola is a little bit broader, not land-based, but cemented in perpetuating Native Hawaiian history, culture, art, etc. Is that right?
Yes, and if you really want to oversimplify it, it's related to the 4 strategic pillars, right? The first one, Resort Area Hawaiian Culture Initiative, is about how we enhance our Hawaiian culture, and so it's tied to that pillar, but also to the visitor experience, and so that's an important part. We think about Kahuaina as being specifically related to natural resource management and understanding, again, how do we mitigate visitor impacts to Aina, and then Kukuluola is really about how do we perpetuate the Hawaiian community and our cultural practices.
Could an entity apply to all 3 of these? And does it have to be the same project or different projects?
They need to be different projects. So if you're wanting to do the same project, you can only apply to one program. You can't apply to multiple programs with the same project.
So community enrichment program type projects, these are designed to have our visitors and our community side by side enjoying the same things. Is that right?
Absolutely. And I think that there's a beauty in what it's really lame, but we call it resident visitor interaction. But really, we know that that's the magic, right? That when a community with open arms is welcoming a visitor, that visitor is coming with aloha and respect. That's really the beauty of what I think creates these memorable, unique experiences, not only for our communities, but also for our visitors.
Yeah, and I think that's reflective of our community values. Many of us grew up, Tutu's home was always open, the door was unlocked. It didn't matter who you were bringing over, just come, share, and offer them food. In my case, I love Okinawan Festival, which I think is a recipient of Community Enrichment Program funding, if only for the undagi. But these are the kinds of amazing events that HTA supports within our community. Now, the last one, but certainly not the least, the big events, these are called signature events. Can you talk a little bit about how these are different from, say, community enrichment program?
Yeah, in its simplest terms, it's the scale. These are our big tentpole events of the year. They're the ones that attract visitors from across the globe. I think about the Hawaii Food and Wine Festival. I think about Merry Monarch. I think about the Polynesian Football Hall of Fame. And certainly we're open to new events that really support our community and really represent the diversity of our culture and experiences in Hawaii. These events really are an opportunity to highlight the best parts about who we are.
Now, Signature Events is a little unique. This is the only program that for-profits can apply for funding. Can you explain more about that?
Yeah, again, because of the scale of the program, we recognize that some of them are organized by for-profit entities, and so this program does allow for that.
That's great. In the future, moving forward, what kinds of things would HTA like to see in applications for signature event funding?
Yeah, again, I think really if you understand from our overarching sort of goals, how do we enrich our community? How do we improve our quality of life? How do we support events that really bring community together and strengthen our bonds neighbor to neighbor? And at the same time, leave space and hold space for visitors to take a peek into what makes Hawaii so special. And so I think any program across all of them that really help to, one, enhance our quality of life as kama'aina, but also giving a peek or a view or an experience into what it's like to be here is a really powerful one that leaves a very lasting impression. And so we hope that in that way, that tourism, through these experiences, through these activities, one, protect and preserve our home so that we can call it home for generations to come, and two, leave a meaningful impact and something that touches a visitor in a way that they can learn and take something back home to where they're from and actually make their home better too.
Signature events that have been successful in the past, they have these huge marketing budgets. They are able to reach global audiences in print and online and broadcast. Can this funding be used for maybe a more cemented event locally to reach a broader audience in order to invite travelers to Hawaii?
Absolutely. And so I think a big portion of our support is not only directed at allowing the event to happen, so covering hard costs that let them do the event and keep it going, but also, again, sharing and promoting it and to build attendance.
For those watching the webinar with questions, you can either submit them electronically to ʻUmeke@kilohana.com or put them in the chat and a representative from Kilohana will answer them shortly. Now, Kalani, are there any final thoughts you want to offer to our participants today?
On behalf of our Hawaii Tourism Authority Board of Directors, our interim president and CEO, Daniel Naho'opi'i, myself, and the rest of the staff at HTA, we just want to say mahalo. We know it takes a lot of sacrifices to put on these programs, these events, these experiences. We hope to provide a little bit of support as you implement them, and we're so grateful for the partnership. Aloha.
Aloha.
Thank you for bearing with me in that video. It's nothing more humbling than watching yourself for 12 minutes to get your nerves going, but thanks for your patience with watching the video. So we do want to spend a little bit of time to recap the programs. I do want to clarify, after we recorded this, we had to make some adjustments with the Resort Area Hawaiian Culture Initiative. Essentially, we are realizing that we're not going to be able to turn those 2023 programs as quickly as we had anticipated. So what we've done is we've essentially taken the funds that we had set aside for 2023 and are dedicating them to Maui, but during 2024. So there's sort of a pot for Maui, which is number 6 here on that right side, and then a pot of money for everywhere else statewide. And so they'll both happen in calendar 24, but we had to make a bit of an adjustment. So I just wanted to clarify that way. We'll move right to left since we started on that side. Our signature events. My apologies, I see a few of you on the call tonight. So obviously other key signature events that we'd like to highlight are King Kamehameha Day celebrations across the state, as well as the Aloha festivals and others. So thanks for joining us. Again, those events are really these marquee events throughout the year. They're an opportunity, like I said, that attract visitors to the state. That's one of the things that sets them apart from community enrichment program. And then it's also their size. And so really we think about the community enrichment program as the beginning of a process to build capacity across these community events. And hopefully they get into signature and grow to that size. Again, community enrichment program, the one thing I do want to call out is it's not only standalone festivals and events. We really want to encourage folks that if you have a seasonal or year-long activity that you would like to propose within one of the 7 niche areas, go ahead and refer to the RFP document. There's more information there, but again, not just for festivals and events. Community enrichment program also can do things like agritourism. And if you wanted to start a farm trail or some other kind of experience that is seasonal or year-long, that's the opportunity to do so. Moving along, we'll go to Kahu'aina next. It's a little bit of a different name for us, but the program is very much the same. So if you have been an Aloha Aina recipient in the past, it's very, very, very similar, except for in name. And then first one there on the left, Kukulola, again, same name, same program, and we can answer any questions. Next slide, please. So again, all of them were released on the 2nd. We're doing the informational briefings tonight, actually, not today. And we did one on Tuesday. The deadline for submission is November 13th at 11:59 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time. I do want to just call this out. Please, please, please do not wait till the last minute. Technology happens. Please please don't procrastinate that. Go ahead and update your your proposal and get it submitted early. You'll learn more about that later in this presentation, but please don't wait. And then again, we hope to make a notification of award the week of December 18th. That way we can contract and get funds out the door so you guys can begin programs beginning January 1, 2024 through December 31st, 24. So calendar year program. Next slide. So like we said, kukuluola and kahuaina, really similar. Award amounts up to 100,000 must occur in the state of Hawaii, calendar year. No matching fund requirement for those two programs, and eligibility is for 501c3 or government agencies. Next slide. For community enrichment and the Resort Area Hawaiian Culture Initiative, again, calendar year 2024, must happen in Hawaii. There is no award limit for these, so really just be mindful about what you're asking for, justify it, explain what those funds are going toward, and we'll entertain it really at any level. Typical award amount in this program, though, is somewhere between 25 and 50,000 per program, about. Again, but just we wanted to give some flexibility and some space into what you folks are able to propose, and so we'll take a look at everything. Again, similarly, no matching funds required in these two programs, and then it's eligible for 501c3 or government agency. Next page, please. Signature events, calendar 24, must happen in Hawaii. Again, no award limit either. We want to really understand what the opportunity is. We do require a match on this one. It's 1-to-1 with at least half of it in cash. And so if you are doing a signature event, please pay attention to that. It is similar to last year. And then eligibility is for 501c3s, government agencies, or for-profit entities. We have gotten some questions on other nonprofit statuses like C4, etc. So we're taking a look at that and hope to have some clarification soon. And once we have that, then we can let everyone know. Next slide. Generally speaking, I want to say that these are some examples of non-allowable expenses across all programs, but each list is a little bit different given the nature of each of the programs. So please do go ahead and refer to the specific RFP for a full list and specifics. But generally speaking, we won't allow our funds to be used for anything that you see on the screen here. In particular, capital improvements is one that we're often asked to make. Unfortunately, we're not able to. No direct fundraising events. We can't use it for prize money. We're not using it, again, check for the specific list in the program you're applying to, but salaries and fringe benefits. No endowments, no merch for resale. That's one that often comes up for us. And then no startups. Also, I want to call out the last two in particular. No pre-award expenditures. So basically, if you were to start spending money and starting to put your program together and it was done in 2023, we won't reimburse you for those costs. All the costs need to happen after you sign your contract with Kilohana and begin in 2024. And so I just want to call that out. And then lastly, admin cap at 20%. And so again, referring specifically to the program that you're applying to, or programs in that case, please go ahead and follow those strictly. Next slide. There may be some reasons why we might reject your proposal. Proposals submitted to multiple HTA programs simultaneously. You heard me talk about this in the interview with Tyler, but essentially if you have one project, it should only be submitted to one program, one of the 6. If you have separate projects that are completely different, we'd absolutely love to fund more than one. There are a number of you on this call that I see that have received more than one type of funding for different projects. So please do consider that. Failure to cooperate or deal in good faith. Again, late proposals are unacceptable, so please make sure you're not waiting till the last minute. Failure to submit in accordance with the RFP requirements, or failure to supply an adequate response to the RFP. Lack of demonstrated experience or expertise. Inadequate accounting system or internal controls. Because many of these awards are significant amounts, we do want to see that you have the ability to manage those funds. And then lastly, failure to meet the terms of agreement on any previous HTA award. This is a big one. So if you have a current program that is not in good standing, you didn't submit a final report, it will make you ineligible for the 2024 cycle. So if you have a current award with HCF or HVCB, we just ask that you're current with whatever report you're at. And if you've missed one from way before, definitely not going to be eligible. So please mind that. And then again, see specific RFPs for a full list on this topic. Next slide, please. It's important we clarify what we're scoring you on. So project components, impact and performance measures, your organizational capacity, and your budget. Really help to tell us a story of the completeness of your preparation in your proposals. And we'll go ahead and use these criteria with these percentages to evaluate them. We will be using selection committees whose members are selected by HTA Kilohana and are reflected of a diverse group of community members, business representatives, and or HTA throughout the state. And again, they're going to be different for each of the programs. And so we'll just say that they're people who have scored these proposals, who are familiar with the program outcomes and objectives that we're looking for, and will do so objectively. Okay, I think I'm going to turn it over to Kainalu now, and he's going to run us through the online application portal. Mahalo.
Hey, mahalo, Kalani. So I'll share my screen here. Okay, so hopefully everyone can see. We don't have our representative from Purple Mile Foundation who helped to build out the ʻUmeke platform. So hopefully I can suffice and get through and hopefully answer a lot of the questions you folks may have on navigating the portal. So here we'll start at the kilohana.com website, and you'll see the apply online link here. So here will be where you sign up and register. So I'll take us all from the top. And fill out so here, once we sign up, the first page here you'll see is to set up your organization. So here I'll just kind of plug in some things here. It's pretty basic standard information. Your organization with your address, tax ID numbers, what type of entity you're incorporated as. And here, contact information. So once you set all of that up, you'll hit the home page here. A quick tip on the upper right-hand corner, you can click edit my info and it'll take you back to that organization page, and you can update your fields as you wish. So here we'll go back to the home page and we'll click apply to start our application. So once you hit start, this is the first page that you'll see, and there'll be the drop-down menu of the 6 different programs within HTA. So you can kind of click through, and here's a brief description of each one. So once you find the program that's best fit for your organization and you would like to start an application, you click here, the start application, and then have the project title here. You'll see at the very bottom that we won't be taking any diacritics for the application, just because on the back end it messes up with the data collection in the database. So we do have that prompt there. And once you're ready to start, you can click this next button here. So here it'll take you through the application. At any point in time, you can click back to the home page and it'll bring up the landing page here, and you'll see that the application that you started will be in this table format on the bottom. If you wanted to resume that application, click the apply button and it'll take you right back where you left off. So here we'll finish the remaining of the application. So what you'll face on the first or on the second page of the application, it'll ask you some base questions like, is this a new project or an established project? When the project dates are. So you can click when your dates for your project. It'll ask you for the requested amount, as well as the total amount for your project. You also have questions regarding if you're a prior recipient of the HTA funding. So if yes, it'll also ask you how much was received. You'll also have questions based on your project location. So it's checkbox, and you can check as many as applicable to your project. So if you're only on the island of Maui, you would check that one. If you plan to do Lanai, Molokai as well, you click those. The last question you'll face on this page is the tourism niche market. Here, once we select, we can click next, and it'll bring us to the page 3. The 3 questions you'll face here include an executive summary of your project, detailed description of your proposed project, as well as some of your risk assessments, challenges, obstacles that you're prepared to navigate in the event that those things come up. Please note that each of these text boxes have a maximum character limit of 5,000, not word limit, but character limit. And for those that will be using like a copy paste from a Word document or something, the estimated amount would be like 1 page, 1.5 pages as like a rough estimate of the max that it will allow. So from there, we can click next. On page 4, you'll have more questions regarding a marketing plan, problem opportunities, as well as expected results. And please note that per program, some of the questions may vary. So for example, if applying for signature events, you might get more detailed questions regarding media and your marketing. So here we can click next. The next page, you'll have all of your KPIs. So here, the first group is based off attendance. We have on-island residents, neighbor island residents. We have out-of-state and international. We also have KPIs based on satisfaction level, which is going to be more of a percentage. Then at the very bottom, we have your own proposed KPIs. And there are, we do encourage applicants to align with some of the DMAPs, Aloha, Aloha Economic Futures, the UN SDGs, and we do have them linked here. So there's very quick navigation for you to go back into. But the KPI metric is open for you to put in. I'll just put in some test ones. And we have up to 5 that you can input. So on the next page, you'll have more narrative questions. One on how you can highlight the Hawaiian culture, highlight the state's diversity, And the bottom two questions relate to your organization. So you have an opportunity to portray the mission of your organization, as well as some of the organization's capacities with key board members and key leadership. So on page 7, this is going to be your itemized budget. In order to find the itemized budget template, you can click on this link and you'll download the form here. If you want an example, there's a link over here as well. So once you download it, you can upload the completed file here. I'll just upload a test one. In the bottom text box, you can input the budget narrative. So here will be our last page for the application. You do have multiple uploads for various items. I will put a test upload on all of them, but the first one will be a certificate of vendor compliance. Here's the link with the state of Hawaii you can access there. We'll also request a list of your board of directors and leadership. Articles of incorporation. And the bottom two will be more optional. So these are your letters of support. You can upload up to 3 here. And a placeholder for fiscal sponsorship agreement in the event of any nonprofit that doesn't have the 501c3 designation. We will allow fiscal sponsorship. So here's where you would upload that agreement file. Once we do that, we can click the self-certification, click submit. And here you'll have successfully completed and submitted the application. At this point, you can go back to the landing page and you will get a confirmation in the table of which project and which program, along with the submitted status. You'll get a confirmation email to the email held on file here. And if you wanted to get a read-only view of what you've submitted, you can always click on this project link here in the table. And it'll bring up a copy of what was submitted in your completed application. Here, once you've submitted an application and you click the apply button again, it will allow you to start a brand new application for a new project. So here we can start, and if we think we submitted for a kukulola, if we wanted to submit for a racy, we could do that at this point in time. But that's it for me. Hopefully that's helpful for everyone. I know it's a brand new portal that was stood up. So if you folks do have more questions on how to navigate it, please shoot us an email and we're happy to answer any questions.
Thanks, Kainalu. One other thing I would just add that I think is important, or 2 things rather. One, you need to finish your first application before you can start a second. And so be sure you wrap up your first one first and know that you need to do them in sort of chronological order. It won't allow you to have multiple applications open at the same time. The second thing I would share is that we'll share this recording so you all can reference this after tonight's meeting. I know we covered a lot of content, and so we want to make that available to you. And then, of course, if you have additional questions, you see the email and phone number here that you can go ahead and reach out to the Kilohana team. I will say we have some time for questions. I know we're right in the middle of dinner, so I'm going to try to get through as many of these questions as I'm able to. So please use the meeting chat function. The team from Kilohana is recording these questions. And so I'm happy to get to them. I'm going to start with Kylan and Maureen, your folks' questions related to HCF. Those should be the only programs that we're aware of that have an overlap. And so my advice and our advice is that you finish out your Kukuluola or Aloha Aina program with HCF. And then if anything, you would apply for a completely separate project. So that's one way to do it for calendar year 2024, and ensuring that the evaluators can see that it's a separate project from what you're doing with HCF in the current cycle. The other is to finish out the June deadline for your current cycle and then apply for the back half of the year for calendar 24 and kind of take a half year approach to it. We will only be issuing these procurements now for the full year calendar 24. There will not be additional RFPs for calendar year 24 for any of the 6 programs. So this is sort of one and done for all of calendar 24. So I hope that answers the questions for those of you that have mid-cycle programs through HCF. Awesome. I think we got all of the questions either in writing in the chat itself or what we've answered here. So we'll give a few more minutes. If you are Paul and you're good, our presentation is done for the evening, but I'll go ahead and stick on and answer questions for a bit more. I want to do though, before you dig out, I want to say mahalo, not only for spending your evening with us tonight, but again, for the work you do in our communities across the state. You're really what make our home special, and I'm grateful to you for that. And so on behalf of our board of directors, our interim president and CEO, Daniel Naho'opi'i, as well as the rest of the team who is on the call here, you see Maka and Didi and some of our other staff at the HTA, as well as our team at HVCB and Kilohana. Big mahalo to you all. And so, like I said, we'll stick on for some questions, but I know it's right in the middle of dinner time. So we'll see you. Ahui ho, and take good care. Paul, I can answer that question. Regarding to Kahu'aina, we really want to emphasize that the intent is protecting our natural resources. We're open to projects that don't have a very specific visitor component to them, but certainly we would like to see that if that's possible. And so if there are opportunities for visitors to volunteer as part of that project or that work, we'd love to see that engagement, but not necessarily exclusive, or if you don't have them, you wouldn't be funded. But again, we would love to see both residents and visitors participating in the protection of our natural resources. Jerlyn, I see community enrichment program, fundraising events that are not allowed. We'd hope to apply for SEP. Sorry, I'm reading through your question. So unfortunately, no, we're not able to use state funds for a fundraiser. We have another mechanism that we might be able to. So if you can go ahead and drop an email to ʻUmeke@kilohana.com, maybe we can find some other ways to support our Maui Ohana. But under these 6 programs, we're not allowed to fund fundraisers directly. And then I think I got that. Okay. Michelle, your question, does 600 attendees qualify for a signature event? It could. I can't really answer it really well without understanding a little bit more detail around your program. Of those 600 attendees, what we'd be interested in looking at is what percentage are visitors and what percentage are residents. And so really that split between them is what makes them different between SEP and signature. And so again, their overall size and scale and their ability to attract visitors to the islands is really what we're looking for with signature. But if not, it can be a solid SEP program as well. And both programs don't have a monetary limit that you can ask for. So there's no real sort of advantage to applying to one or the other. It's really about fit. And so, yeah, if you have additional questions, go ahead and reach out.
Mahalo.
No problem. Monica had a question about in the past, if we are a recipient of a state GIA, we couldn't apply for these grants. Yes, that's the case, Monica. So Monica, if you have an active GIA with the state for the same project, this would be considered double dipping, and so we wouldn't be able to fund it through these programs. However, if it's a separate project, we can. Monica had another question. Can this project be directed to tourist keiki only, or does it need local keiki also? Both are really open. We love, like I mentioned in the video, that resident visitor interaction. And so if there are opportunities to bring them together, that's really what we believe creates a space where the interaction is reciprocal. And so we'd prefer opportunities that really bring both together. Maya, I have to go ahead and check. Let me double check. And we can get back to you on that, on the salaries as non-allowable expenses in Kahu'aina and Kukuloa. Let me double check. I don't want to say the wrong thing here tonight. So, okay. Could residents from other Hawaiian islands be considered visitors? Also, could the cultural education piece of our overall international sports tourism project event be proportioned out as a separate project that is eligible? So parceling is not allowed. So Tricia, we wouldn't be able to split different parts of the same event or project to get different funds. So you should apply for them all as one project. On the residents from other, this is a weird quirk. Obviously, as a Kanaka, I know that I am a malihini to Hawaii Island, or I am a malihini to Maui because I'm from Kailua Oahu. But for the purposes of these funding opportunities, Hawaii state residents would just be considered residents. Happy to. Correct, Maya. So if you have an existing program that has received prior year funding, that's totally okay. But because of the weird overlap when we're trying to get back on cycle for 2024, what would happen is if you wanted to do, I'm just trying to think. So you could do, I think your programs end in June. You could do July to December in this current cycle for the same programs. Or you could come up with completely new programs and do a full calendar year for 24. But then you would have a 6-month gap for that leftover piece. Awesome. Okay. Like I said, you can always reach us via email or that phone number there. I think because I'm seeing the questions in the chat slow down, we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. Again, mahalo for joining us tonight. We'll see you soon, hopefully, and take good care. Aloha.
Aloha, mahalo.